Hello, Crawford middle school students. This is Mr. McGuire. I apologize for not being able to be here in class on the first day of my class for the second 9 weeks, but we had some sickness in our family. My father's really ill, and so I apologize for not being here. So this is going to be the next best thing. So basically, I wanted to go over a few things that will help you today to kind of get acclimated to my class. There are a few classes where students have been in my class for the first 9 weeks, so they can help you with those things that we're going to cover. And for those students that have been with me for the first 9 weeks, there are a few minor changes that I'm going to make. So in the past, I've cross listed my first period class. Um, that being said, so I apologize. I had my messenger on. So anyway, this is the first period class is your 812, eighth grade, first period, second 9 weeks. Second period is sixth grade, second period, second 9 weeks. Seventh period or seventh grade, third period, second 9 weeks. Eighth grade, fourth period, second 9 weeks, and seventh grade, sixth period, second 9 weeks. So the way I've done it this way is each class is going to be a little different. I'm not going to cross reference my two seventh grade classes and my two eighth grade classes. So that being said, let's get to it. These are some things that you'll need to do. Today, you're going to create a Google Doc, but don't do that yet. I just want to explain some of the things in the process of how to navigate my Canvas pages. So I'm going to go through each one. Right now, they're all very similar. So I'm just going to use first period's class and how you navigate my Canvas pages. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So each Canvas page basically looks the same way in each class, just to keep the uniformity of that. Just real quick, I wanted to let everybody know that this is my school cell number. Some of the conversations that we've had and some of the announcements that I've made about the leadership, technology leadership. I'm also the STLP coordinator at Crawford. So we met yesterday with a group of students. And so the fact that you are in my class now will mean that you're going to take part in some STLP during class. We're going to, as you see here, this is my brand. And I welcome you to my class. You know, I've done a lot of stuff with Adobe. And we'll continue to do that. There's my email address, and then my email address is also on the wall in my classroom. Real quick, just to navigate the modules is where you can find all the instructions. So when you click on that for every class, this is what you see. Okay, so this is the first thing that we're going to do, and I haven't posted it yet because I want you all to pay attention to the process. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my dashboard and let you look at every class really quick. So on the modules, each class will have different things and different assignments. Go back to my courses. Let's go to third period in the same way. And then let me go to fourth period in the same way. And then let me go to fifth period, or excuse me, sixth period in the same way. I have planning fifth period. So there it is. So I'm going to go back to my dashboard and go back into first period just so we can go through and look at the Canvas. So basically, all of the buttons that you see here is what you're going to need to use. You're not going to do a whole lot of width on the left, okay? So the assignments, like for example, when you see an assignment pop up, you'll click on assignments. And right now, we're working on episode 3 in first period, but there's no other assignments posted for any other class. Right now, the only assignment we're going to do is get to know myself, Mr. McGuire, and understand the media arts expectations. So let me go back. I'm going to close out a few things here. Go back to my dashboard just so you can see. And also what I've tried to do is I try to create a button for you so it says McGuire 1. And I did that just because we will create logos and do all kinds of cool things in class. All right, so let's get back to it. The student MVP, this is I'm the team lead of the Expos. This is our Google site that kind of explains who our expos are. That's Mr. Harris, our robotics teacher, Mr. Green, a PE teacher, Mr. Arnold, the health teacher, and then we've got a new addition, Mr. Devney. Mr. Wigley has moved to uh, Ohio, and then you have so Mr. Devney will take his place, and I've got to change that. And Mrs. Hampton, who's also our PE teacher. Okay, so that being said, these are our buttons here. Okay, so the last button that we're going to need to this is very important. So while you're in the Canvas today, this is the first thing that you're going to need to do. You will get credit for it, and this will be an assignment. But this is my YouTube channel, and I'll just put McGuire Tube. That's what I call it. Okay, and so this is where all of our demonstrations will be for the most part. So if you go into playlist, you can see 2021, 2022 McGuire demonstrations, and you click on view full playlist. This is also where we are doing news broadcasts and some of the old things that we do. What I would like for you to do is I would like for you all to subscribe to that channel now so you can access that. You don't have to do it now, but it would be smart to do so. I will explain later how you can get 10 easy points for subscribing to the channel, because that's going to be important to you as we do multiple things in class. Okay, so that is the process of how to access and manipulate or kind of go about using our Canvas page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into modules. And so we're going to cover today getting to know Mr. McGuire, and I'm going to go over several things that we are going to do. So what you need to do now is you need to click on the waffle on Google. I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, so number 2, after clicking the waffle, you will see where it says Google Docs or the Docs. Just click on it. And then at that point, you're going to just click on choose start a new document, and it's going to be a blank document. So hit the plus sign, and you right there, you should be ready to roll. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to label the doc, and this is something you're going to need to know in the future. You're going to label your doc with your last name and your first name, 10, 14, 21, media arts expectations. Now, again, this is very important. Here's an example that I have done for you. Last name, first name, 10, 14, 21, media arts expectations. Now, if for some reason I am at school on Thursday, the 14th, then we will still go over this the same way. I just wanted to make a video just to kind of walk you through it. So the teacher that is covering my class, thank you very much for being there. I appreciate it very much. So I'm going to give you a second to do that. Quick review. Click on the waffle. After clicking on the waffle, create a Google Doc. Choose Start a New Document. And then label your document with your last name and your first name. Now, the teacher that is there can pause if needed at any point. Okay, so I'll ask you to do that for me. I'll send this link out to teachers that are covering to help me out. And again, I appreciate you all helping me out today. So now, with that Google Doc, I want you to be prepared to take some notes throughout the day, because we are going to do a Google form using these notes in the future, and probably be when I return. Now, if for some reason I'm out, then that Google form will be the next assignment. Okay. So let's look at this real quick. This is my infographic. Okay, I just kind of want to show you. This is kind of something cool that we'll do in class. Just a real quick way to do some cool stuff in class, and I like it because it's kind of animated. And I used Adobe Spark Post to do this. It's really cool. So just a little bit about me, and some of you all who had me know me, but I'm going to review this anyway. Up here, I graduated from Campbellsville University. And then I got my graduate degree at Eastern Kentucky University. And I am an Adobe Creative Educator. Okay. And so that's what these two, the two icons there on the left. And then on the right, the top right, this is, I've been at Crawford since 2017. And I have been teaching since 1997. So this is my 25th year of teaching. This is my Twitter handle, my email address. And then, of course, in my class, we're going to be doing a lot of digital art with graphic design, videography, whether it be the news broadcast or making GIFs or making different things. And that can get rather difficult, but I will break it down for you and make multiple demonstration videos to help you. And there's students in class that will be able to help you. And then we'll do a lot of photography. We also do the yearbook in my class. So hopefully some of the pictures that you take in my class will be in the yearbook. So here are some of the new things that I wanted to show you. So we have media arts expectations that are on the wall. Okay. And I'm going to go over those, but the very, very most important thing here for my class, and and I put this next, is because this is a change. This is a little bit different. In my class, you notice that I have the IMAX, and you have the newsroom that's on the left with the green screen, and the audio room on the right. And then I have where the equipment is stored. So what I'm going to do is, if I've got enough technology right now, there are some times we'll use our cell phone for class. But what I'm going to ask you is this, and our headphones. So I'm going to ask you, headphones will only be used with my consent or a teacher's consent. Okay. And I put teacher because sometimes, like for example, today, if I'm not there or a teacher is there, then a teacher consent. Okay. Headphones should not remain in your ears during class instruction. Mr. McGuire will give it consent as to when they will be used. Now, if I'm not in class, you're subject to the teacher that is there. Okay. If there's a specific project that we're working on, I will provide the technology for you all to use. I do have headphones that we can use for different things. So you do not need your headphones. I found that this has gotten in the way of my instruction, because students will keep their AirPods in while I'm talking, and you can't do both. It's just, I can't. The content is hard enough as it is. So what I'm asking you to do is make sure when you come in my class, when you enter my class, please make sure that you put the headphones up. Okay. The cell phones. This is also going to be a big one. Now we do have used those in the past, but starting the second 9 weeks, what we're going to do is cell phones will only be used with teacher consent. When entering Mr. McGuire's classroom, your cell phones will need to be put up. Mr. McGuire will post signage allowing cell phones to be used for classwork as needed. So I will post signage so you'll know once you enter my room if we're going to use cell phones that day. Now, what are some of the things we're going to use? And what I would like to do while I'm talking about it, I need you all to type number 1 about the headphones. And you don't have to write underneath, just type number 1, type this part right here. And then type number 2, cell phones will only be used with teacher consent. I need you to type those 2 things on your Google Doc. Now, while you're doing that, when you enter the classroom, and obviously you're not, you know, coming in my room that we're going to put the cell phones up. I don't want the cell phones on your desk. I just want them placed in your backpack or in your pocket or whatever the case may be. If there's a problem where you need to call, then I can let you step into the green room to make a phone call to a parent, or you can use my classroom phone. But you know, there's the way I've built the curriculum. There's only a few times that we're going to need to use the cell phones. I mean, and we might use it more. I mean, sometimes we use it to take pictures. Sometimes I'll allow you to take videos because your cell phones are very high quality most of the time. So, but that will be based on the curriculum that I'm teaching. So it's not going to be a free for all where you come in and you can just have your cell phone out for any reason. If the signage says that cell phones are not to be used, then if you have completed a project, that doesn't mean you get your cell phone out. Again, if the signage says that it's not to be used, then you don't get your cell phone out when you have completed a project. Because there will be some times where I'll be working with a student individually or a group of students, as you see how the desks are placed. So that being said, and I will structure a seating arrangement when I return. Actually, I'll probably post it up here in a little bit, but for right now, just be prepared to have a seating assignment. And I just do that just to kind of work with certain groups that I've already had and that I'm having. In the 7th grade class, there's a few students that are on the news team. And in my first period class, there are several students that are on the news team as well. That I had first 9 weeks that are there. So obviously I'm going to have them set together, but then we'll work with each other as a group as well. So the iMacs will only be used with teacher consent. You know, those are, so I'm going to ask everyone, even if you've been in the first 9 weeks class, I'm going to put everybody in a certain assigned seat. And that being said, I will let you know when it's time for us to use the iMacs. And then the green and audio rooms only be used with consent. So usually if I'm not there, then we will not use those rooms. There are some times that if I'm not there, that you'll be able to use the iMacs based on what we're doing. For example, a student is working on producing episode 3, excuse me, this next episode for the news, the WCMS news. So she will be working on the iMac because she understands what to do. Okay. As I go through, please make sure you type number 1, just the heading. Headphones will only be used with teacher consent. You type that. Number 2, type cell phones will only be used with teacher consent. Number 3, type iMacs will only be used with teacher consent. Number 4, green and audio rooms will only be used with teacher consent. So those 4 things you need to make sure that you have on your Google Doc. Now, we're going to go into a few things with this, and I'm going to break down a few other things too that we're going to have in our notes. Again, this will all be as a part of a Google form assessment, just to make sure that you all have listened to the expectations and so on and so forth. These are a couple logos. One logo on the left is our Crawford Creed, which we'll discuss, and a logo I've created for my class and different things we do in my class as well. So let me move on to everything you're going to need to know. So let's look at certain things here. So I'm going to go here and we're going to look at the Crawford Creed. Now, what I want you to do is commit to learning is C. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to type commit to learning, and in one sentence, explain in the Google Doc what you think that means in my class. Again, commit to learning, and type in one sentence what you think that means in my class. Then I want you to type make responsible choices and do the same thing. What does making responsible choices mean in my class? One sentence. Doesn't have to be a paragraph. Doesn't have to be a big long book. Just explain what you think it means. And the last but not least is the S, the show kindness. What does that mean in my class? Okay, so as a review, you're going to type commit to learning, write one sentence, type make responsible choices, write one sentence, show kindness, one sentence, and what that means. Okay, so teacher, if you please would pause it now to give them a chance to do that. Thank you. Now I'm going to go on to the next part. Okay, so these are the media arts expectations that I have on the wall. So we talk about taking care of technology. It's very, very important that we have, a lot of money in this class. And I tell every class, this is my 5th year at Crawford, and it's taken me basically 5 years to build a program like this. And I will say that administration, Mr. Jones, has been very supportive, and that a lot of the teachers in the building, allowing us to interview, allowing us to make videos, because what we do at Crawford, in our news and our media teams and our 6th grade class and 7th grade classes is we do a lot of things all about Crawford. So that being said, let's take care of our technology. You're going to take care of my technology like you would take care of your cell phone. It's a great way to put it. Great way to put it. Okay. And in this case, I don't want you to write the media arts expectations. You don't have to write anything about that. There's no reflection right there that needs to be done. Okay. I just want you to listen. If you want to take a few notes about taking care of technology, worst case scenario, I might ask a question, or I might state about taking care of technology like you would your cell phone. Being creative. Sometimes that's hard because there are going to be some projects in my class that are going to be very difficult. But I will state, restate, and restate, make videos and sit with you one-on-one, work with you on groups. I will make sure that you have every opportunity to get it. All you need to do is put forth effort. Okay, put forth some effort. And you all are a very creative bunch. I've seen that on many, many occasions at Crawford Middle, so that shouldn't be a problem. Be willing to work with others. That being said, you might be sitting at a table that you might not be really close with that person. You probably might not talk to them in the hallway, but I'm going to start off with a certain seating assignment, and that's what it will be, and then I'll assess what we need to do to make changes. I will say there are going to be some times where I'll ask you to work with a group that you could get along with and people that you know. The big thing here, stay in your workspace. It's a very big room. If you notice, I have colors on the floor. Okay, so if you're in the yellow, you need to stay in the yellow. If you're in the red, you need to stay in the red in your area, which means you need to stay in your seat in your area. You also, if you're in the green, you need to stay in the green. The blue area, I would like for you all to stay out of the blue area because that's where I keep a lot of different things for, like it's the photo booth and some different things when I set out the iPads and all that good stuff. So there's several tables there that I'll use. And we're going to get to control your volume here in a minute on the voice level chart to the right. One thing I will say, be willing to learn new things. There's a lot of new things we're going to learn. I'm going to teach you in this class, and I'll learn a lot of new things from you guys. There's some things that I've learned about, the Chromebook that you all have taught me. There's some things about the iMac that you all have taught me. I'm a big Apple fan. I really like working with Apple products. I mean, I like the Windows-based products, and the Chromebooks does serve a good purpose, but we'll learn together. So I'm always going to be willing to grow. You need to be willing to grow too. If you make a mistake, continue to try again. Don't just stop on the first try. I get it if it's the 10th time, but I will provide the support you need to be successful in my class. On many occasions, and hopefully that no one will get quarantined, but on many occasions, I will work with you individually if you are having a major problem with a certain concept or content that I'm teaching. Please make sure your area is clean and neat, because with technology, and then I'm going to get into not eating and drinking in class, because we've had a couple spills, and so and there's some students that almost ruined their Chromebook because of that. And oddly enough, people are trying to drink around the IMAX, and that's a big no-no. So for every class, we're going to start not having, food around the technology. Okay. Yeah, and I will say sometimes we'll have a little, candy and different things like that. But let's just be mindful about our technology. Okay. And then return class items to the proper place. I provide sometimes pencils in the green bucket. I've got paper there. Sometimes we'll write and jot things down. And again, you don't have to make notes on the media arts expectations. I just want you to be aware that we will review these and review these and review these. Okay. So let's get to the voice level chart. This is to the right here, the voice level chart. Obviously, we're going to stay within 1 and 2. There's a lot that goes on specifically when we do the news in the newsroom, when the anchors are talking. Or if someone in 6th or 7th grade is doing a voiceover and we need things to be more quiet, we can use the sound room, and that's what it's there for. We do a lot of voiceovers, when we do our videography and different things like that. So there's going to be times like for now, we should be at voice level 0 because no one should be talking except for me. Or if the teacher who's working in the class pauses it and they're talking. And there's no cell phone should be out right now, and there's no headphones that should be out right now. So again, out of sight, out of mind. This is what needs to happen. Okay. 1 is a whisper. That's if you're working with your shoulder partner beside you, or 2, if you're working as a group. There should be no loud voice. 3, there should be no shouting. 4. Okay. 3 basically is, probably your when you're outside, just talking outside. Okay. 4 would be like if you're standing on the football field and you're trying to talk to somebody, get ready to go on the door at Crawford. So 2 should be hallway speak, and then 1 should be a whisper. 1 and 2 could be in the classroom. If everybody's speaking, then yes, obviously it's going to be a little bit more loud, but you understand that we don't want to interrupt the other groups, because we have had some 7th grade groups making commercials and things like that. So that being said, let's get into our equipment room. I've got signs here to protect the equipment. Please get permission to enter the media room. Please make sure that you don't enter the media room because there's a lot of things that we keep in there. Most of the time it's locked, but if it is open, please don't enter the media room or the audio room without permission. Okay. For some students that have not had me, you will definitely have to prove that you are responsible enough to be able to handle certain things. Okay. I've had students that wanted to go certain places and they showed me that they're not responsible, but I want to give you full access to everything that we have to offer in media arts. So that being said, let's please make sure and that goes back to taking care of the technology, so again, let's please make sure you do that. So let's go down to the recording in progress, and please work quietly. This is when, if someone's in the audio room or the most likely the green room where they're doing the news or some type of live production, just you can work and be quiet, or work quietly if you would. When the door is closed, typically if you're like at voice level and we go back here to whisper, it shouldn't be a problem. And then what this means, the recording in progress, please wait to enter. What I'll do on occasion is I will put that on the door outside so I don't get a big knock on the door and someone come in and interrupt live instruction or live uh, video. But sometimes it's going to happen, so we can do a retake, and that's okay. This is something I put in here. Sometimes you all have issues with your Chromebook. This is the student hotline for Tech Help, 859-381-4410. This is something you need to type in your notes. Tech Help for students, 859-381-4410. Okay, please make sure you put that in your notes. All right. Also, I want you to put in your notes right here where it says 1 is a whisper. So you're going to basically say voice level 1 is the primary voice level in media arts. Voice level 1, and you're going to type voice level 1 is the primary voice level in media arts. Then you're going to type, and if the teacher wants to pause that, that's fine. Then you're going to type voice level 2 is when you're working in groups of 4. But so you're going to type voice level 2 is when you're working in groups of 4. Now, I will say when you're in groups of 4, I should not hear your voice over anybody else's voice. You shouldn't yell across the screen, across the classroom. If you're in one side of the classroom and you're yelling at someone in the corner, that's not going to work. Okay. And last but not least, you don't have to do anything with that. This is just how you're supposed to wear a mask. Okay, over your nose, cover your mouth. We all need to wear masks. This is my expectation for my classroom. No different than any other teacher or any staff member at Crawford. Please make sure you wear your mask appropriately. Okay, please wear your mask appropriately. Okay, so these are some of the things that I wanted to cover for our class. Okay, so I hope you had a really good day and learned a whole lot. There are some things that we're going to do for this project. So there is something that I'm going to have everyone do before you leave today. So let me pause the video, and then I will get this set up for the process. What I want everybody to do, we're going to follow through with this. We're going to, step by step. Okay. The first thing I want you to do is go to Google, and we're going to type in, and everybody's going to do this, Adobe Spark Post. Even if you've been in my class, even if you're on the news team, and even if you've done this before, we're going to do it again. This is a review. Okay. Now, just as a quick reminder, the cell phone should be up. No headphones should be out. Follow the expectations. Okay. We should be in our seats. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Spark Post. Everybody has a license. So you're going to click and sign in. Okay. Now let me go back. Let me sign out real quick because I want to make sure you all understand how to do this. Okay. So when you sign in, you're going to click on continue with Google, and then you're going to choose your email address as you would, and then just choose Enterprise ID. Okay. Now, that being said, what we're going to do, and I want everyone to do this. Now, some of you all have done this multiple times, and that's okay. And if you notice right here, I've created a logo for outside of my classroom and some of the other teachers' classroom. Okay. And it, for some reason, it's not one to open up, but I'm going to show you a few logos that we've created. Everybody in this class will need to create a logo. And these are the logos that we've done and that I've done and worked on some different things. There's our Expos logo. There's a logo for a video I made. That's a button right there. There's some examples. Okay. So what I want you to do is you're going to click the plus sign. And again, teachers, please make sure you pause it as needed. If a student needs more time, just hit the space bar and pause it. Okay. Thank you very much for your help. Then you're going to type in, you're going to click on custom size graphic. Then you're going to choose popular and then square. Okay. Now, when you do that, we'll go ahead and hit next, and we're going to move on. And this is going to give me a blank screen, a white. And I call it a canvas because you're working on a canvas. It's kind of like a painting, right? Now, before you do anything, this is very important. Right here on the left, it says My Post. You always want to, and this is just like we did before with the Google Doc, you're going to type your last name. And I'm sorry that does that every time I type my name in there. Last name, first name, and today is, put today's date. And we're going to label this 10/14/21 Adobe logo. Okay. And the reason you do that is because when you download it, that'll already name your logo project. Okay. Now I'm going to show you a few things with this. I think you'll really enjoy it. So the first thing you're going to do is click on text, and you're going to add your text. Okay. Now it automatically defaults to this text. So what I want you to do, there's a lot of things you can do with your logo. And for 6th grade, this is probably really new for you. Even for some of the 7th grade students, 8th grade students should be pretty good at this. But yet, again, everyone needs to be able to turn in a logo for 10/14. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is you're going to use, obviously, you want to use your initials. So I'm going to use my initials J, which my first name is Jeremy, and I'm going to take this circle and enlarge that and move it around. And if you notice, as I move it around, there's a little dotted line that shows that I'm in the center of the canvas. Cool. So I don't really love that font right now, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to change that font to, let me change it to ultra regular. Okay. Now, before I do anything else, let me make it a little bit larger, and I want to get it where it's in the center. You see how I'm doing that? Okay. I'm just moving it around a little bit. And again, reminder, no cell phones, no headphones. Make sure you're in your seat. Make sure your voice level 0. You're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Make sure your mask's on right over your nose. You shouldn't be drinking or eating anything right now. If you have a bottle of water, it needs to be on the floor. Okay. It needs to be on the floor. So I'm going to go to the color scheme here. Right. And I'm going to click on text color. Now, let me show you something. This right here, I want you to switch over and just type in your Google Doc hex code, HEX code. This is called the hex code. So the Crawford green is 00B050. That is the Crawford green. Okay. For example, if you wanted a UK hex code, all you had to do is Google hex code, HEX code. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add something here for you. This just to make sure you understand how to spell it, so there's no confusion. Hex code. Okay, the hex code. That's how you know what color to put. So if you're a UK fan or you're a Bengals fan, or if you're a fan of a team, or you like a certain color, or you like a shirt color, and you go to the company, and the chances are they're going to have a hex code. But for now, I'm going to use this hex code. Now, again, you can look on YouTube, or excuse me, you can look on Google to find out what the hex code is, but you need to understand that. Now, before I do anything else with it, go down here, look at the effects. You can mess with the effects. There's a shape. Now, in this case, I'm not going to do a shape right now. There is a shadow. You can add a shadow, and I can change the color of the shadow right there. Okay. You can make the shadow like the light source is on the top left, or there's a shadow there, like the light source is on the, the bottom right, And for example, when I say light source, for example, like if, let me add an icon here. Let me just put a sun here. Okay. So let's say the sun is right here. Oops, sorry. Say the sun, just for the sake of understanding a light source. Say the sun is right there. Well, this part, the part closest to the sun is going to be lit up, and you're going to have a shadow, and that's the whole purpose of the shadow. But I want to take the shadow off for now. You also can do an outline. Let me go with the black just so you can see it. Now the outline you can make it thicker, you can make it thinner, whatever the case may be. Okay. So whatever you do, I'm gonna complete what I'm doing, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of mess with the grays a little bit. And remember, your logo doesn't need to take away from the actual project. So if you're doing like a project, your logo is just like for example, at the bottom right of a YouTube video, it's got the YouTube logo. It's branding. We're all about branding. We're branding with everything. This is our brand. The Crawford Creed is our brand. Me doing media arts is my brand. All that stuff is about branding. So if you post something, and that's the whole point of Adobe Spark Post, you're posting something to some media outlet. Okay, so I've got that right there. I'm going to come in here too, and I'm going to make the green a little bit more transparent. Okay, I don't want it to be, well, I'll tell you what, let me just keep it like that. But I just wanted to show you where you can't make it transparent there. Okay, I'm going to keep it at 100%. Okay. And one thing that I do like is if you wanted to, there's a lot of, you can do a find new style, and that'll change some things. Now, let me add, I'm going to add another letter. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something here, and I'm going to type it in here. That way you see it. This is our first. Control D is duplicate. So what you're going to do, Control D is duplicate. So I'm going to wait for a second. I need you to put that Control D in your notes. Control D is duplicate. Teacher, if you want to pause it for a second to give them a chance to go to the next tab. Now that we're back, you're going to click on the J, or the first letter after you're done, and you're going to hit Control D, and then I'm going to move it over. Now, I'm going to use my last initial, which is M. Okay. And I'm going to make it the same size. Now, the reason that I waited to do that is because I wanted to do all the editing to the J, because I had intended to copy that. Okay. Or duplicate that, I should say. Now, if you just use your arrow, it'll nudge it. If you use your shift arrow, it'll go a little more quickly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it, and I'm going to nudge it down just a little bit. Now it's connected. Okay. A little bit off. If I hit Control A, it selects all. So Control A, select all. Put that in your notes. Control A is select all. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is the group tool. I want to make these smaller, but I don't want to make the J and the M smaller individually. Process here of how to, so what I did, just a review, is we hit select all, Control A, and then we hit the group button. That way we can make it smaller. Okay. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to work it to where I got it on the canvas.